If you're anything like me, when you grew up in suburbia, you went to high school, you had a couple friends, you went to college, you had a good experience, right? Or maybe you kind of just stayed in and gamed with guys in your dorm, and you got out of college and you kind of had this little bustling community around you. But when you get out, you get your apartment, you get your living space, you get your little job, and that's it. You game, you have your friends on Discord, maybe you kept up with, you played video games with them. I wasn't really a big gamer, um, but I did have an apartment alone, right? And what would happen is I would go to work. I work 50, 60 hours a week. It's an entry level job, and I get home, you cook, and you go to bed, right? And your friends are gone. It's not like you burn any bridges. Right? You just kind of moved away and moved on, and they they have their own lives, right? And they get their jobs, right? They move to their city, and the process repeats, right? And so, a lot of people, look online. There's a lot of people that seem to be lonely. A lot of guys online talking about they're not, they can't get a girlfriend or something. They can't meet people, and I think a lot of the finger pointing is, oh, it's the internet, it's cell phones, and I think that contributes a lot to it. But I mean, Mexicans have cell phones, like people in Paraguay have cell phones. People in Europe have cell phones and computers, and they have the internet, and they have all these different psyops kind of working on them too, right? But they're not as lonely. It seems to be specifically an American thing, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the atomized man and how our infrastructure is set up, how the cities are set up, is almost anti-human in a way. So we'll go here, and yeah, I mean, the American dream, the boomers made it, man. They bootstrapped, they scaled up, they did it all by themselves, no help at all. Pinky promise, they did it all. They got rich, and then they liquidated their assets, man. You're not getting your dad's business, you're not getting your dad's house. It's going to reverse mortgages, it's going in their pockets, it's going to blow it at Vegas, whatever, and the shareholders win again, right? So you're left, you have no friends, you have no stability, no fulfillment. You have nothing. Here, let me mute this here. It's my work laptop. Freaking Microsoft Teams. So, you have nothing. Right? You have your apartment. Hopefully you have a roommate. And there's no clubs around. I guess you could go to the bar for your friends like once a week. Right? But that's still 6 days. What do? You watch Netflix? I don't know. I don't like TV. I don't like video games. I don't like these kind of consumeristic things they have for us. And so that kind of leaves you like, what do you do? You're out in the void, right? And so I think the first psyop that happened was you had the nuclear family. And it was very annoying because there's these conservatives, not all of them, right? But there are conservatives out there that are like, oh, we got to build the nuclear family again, right? The mom, dad, you got the white picket fence, man. And you have the kids. Well, we've already done that in the 50s. That failed, right? The boomers went out, they got high, and kind of brought out this new revolution. It's kind of led to this disaster. And so rebuilding is stupid, right? Because, one, everyone has their slot of land. You have your little plot, okay? But you got to have your own lawnmower. You got to have your own car, your own laundry machine, your own appliances. Everything, you have to have everything by yourself, okay? And you're like, oh, I can... And I think that's kind of what led to boomers thinking they did it all, right? They're like, no, I had my house. I did everything by myself. I did all my chores. We did all the cooking for our kids. It was all kind of in our box, isolated. And, it just leads to kind of having a lonely experience. You have to drive everywhere. Everyone needs a car, right? My car broke down. Well, it didn't break down at all. I popped a tire, right? We have one car. It's a disaster. I work from my home, right? I have an ideal setup. And still, not having the car was such a disaster. Because it was the month before. Now we can get groceries delivered to our house now. But it was the month before, and it's like, oh, dude, to get food, I have to drive 30 freaking minutes to Walmart. Or to go to a friend's house, it would take so much time, right? Well, for us, we live near a friend, right? Which we'll talk about later, but... yeah, it's just a disaster. Like you need this, you need to go into debt to get this machine, and if it breaks down, oh, you're screwed. Oh, you need $1,000 to get an oil leak. Oh, you need this much money, and you have to constantly keep the money coming in through your job, right? So you're trapped, right? And then the nuclear family, feminism was such an easy sell, like this radical feminism, because in the 50s, the mom, I mean, she just stayed at home all day, like just hanging out, doing nothing, right? I mean, there's no in these suburban neighborhoods. There's no reason to kind of go outside. Like you're not gonna in Europe. You go to a coffee shop, hang out or something, right? You go to the public square, you walk around. But in America, nah, dude, you gotta drive to the public square or the public events. You've gotta. You're 30 minutes away from everything. Actually, church. You want a religious experience? Yeah, you gotta drive 30 minutes. And if you're a Protestant, you have your ideal church. It might even be further away. But even if you're like Catholic or Orthodox, you can't pop in for a Matin service, right? I've never been to a weekday Matin service, ever, right? I mean, going strong 3 years, it hasn't happened. It's always on the weekend, right? So you can't even have the religious experience here in America. No, you're not allowed. No, it's too far away. So the moms are trapped. Okay, everything's far away. They're isolated. There's no communities. And then your kids, the grandparents, the generational wisdom. No, dude, you can't even have that. Right? Your grandparents live far away. All right, you only get so much time with the grandparents. Then their grandparents are always, they're like, oh, I don't see my grandkids. Oh my goodness, why not? It's because you live 2 hours away, right? And on top of this, everyone's self-contained in a house, right? This nuclear family, and so everything's intense, right? Like if you're trapped in a room with someone, they get annoying after a while, right? It's like the bickering just adds up, right? The nagging, it just adds up. There's no outlet. There's no one to go out to, just have like a little complaint with, right? Have a little conversation. Oh, my wife is doing X, Y, Z. Oh, my husband, he's so ridiculous. He does blah, blah, blah. You can't advance. No. Don't get to have that, right? Everything's contained, so divorce raises up. And I think this suburban kind of life, everyone needs a car. There's no community. And there seems to be no way out because, there's zoning laws. You need to be zoned correctly. And then, boomers are so freaking cocked. They're like, I gotta pay. Dude, I've got to do the regulations. I gotta make sure everything's up to code. It's like, dude, the codes are freaking dumb. Stop listening to the freaking codes. So we're gonna get past the doom and gloom in just a second, but we're not done because the nuclear family, it was cocked, it was lame, but you don't even get that anymore. Actually, you get this individual experience. Yeah, that's right. You see this guy. Look, this is your religious experience now, right here. Look, he's got, dude. He took DMT, dude. He saw God, dude. That's your religious experience, and you just become this kind of consumeristic sort of vessel, right, to sell products to. I mean, the people's religion is, there's no religious experience, so people just, they pump their money into like Funko Pops and action, maybe legitimate Marvel action figures that don't look quite as silly. Maybe they have those, all right? But yeah, I mean, just become a vessel to buy and sell stuff too. And it's because like when you're an atomized man, you have no roots. Your roots are gone, right? Your religion has to be made up. There's no shared meaning. There's no communal sort of journey. It's made up. You make your, like, if you ever met one of those, like, the universe guys. I took DMT and saw the universe, and dude, I like make my own religion. Dude, you can believe what you want. Everything's true. Blah blah. It's just stupid. Nothing makes sense. And they create demand, right, when you're atomized. Dude, you have a holographic Charizard? Dude, I want a holographic Charizard. I'm going to keep buying packs. It's like the 90s, right? You had that to call it holographic Charizard. Why? I don't know. I could go next door, and my friend had a holographic Charizard, but, dude, I wanted to have that myself, dude. It's a collector's item, And, of course, I lost it $200,000. But that's like, it's pumped up, it's elevated. And now you have full-grown adults being like, I gotta have the Chewbacca Funko Pop, oh my goodness. I've gotta have, I don't know, XYZ collectible figurines, and it's stupid. And then, like, again, well, my example, we're beating the dead horse. We'll beat it again, dude. Why do you have to have a car? There's no buses in America. Elon Musk is like, dude, we're gonna have these like self-driving car systems, dude. This epic like little cars we film. It's like, dude, we can't even get trains working. We're not having drones. There's no drone system. That's not gonna happen. If Amtrak can't work, it's not gonna happen, right? The busing system's terrible, right? No one takes a Greyhound. It's such a mess. You can't even have a train. You can't even have public transport. Nope, you can't. You don't get a family. Sorry, you don't get a wife. You don't get your kids. You don't get any of that. Right now, I'm in a pretty lucky position where I have found a wife and kids. But a lot of people, they're hurting. Like I know guys that are my age that have more money than me. They're better looking than me, and they can't find a wife. Right, and I'm kind of scratching my head. I'm like, what did I do? Like, how does that? And I think the solution is pretty simple, right? It's simple and easier said than done. I didn't say easy, but it is simple. It's a simple fix, right? But first off, there's some solutions online that I think are really dumb. All right, the first is homesteading. People are like, oh, dude, the system's so bad, dude. We're just gonna escape, dude, and we're just gonna go out and have our own plot of land and do it ourselves. Well, you're just a suburban extremist. Like you're just making it even worse, right? Because you're giving more chores. You gotta have your own cows, your own pigs, your own chickens, all your own equipment, right? You get burnt out. You're still atomized. Like every homesteading YouTube channel has a video that's like the truth about homesteading, right? This is the truth. And we struggle getting social connections. Oh my goodness, everything's far away. Oh, we still use a grocery store sometimes. So it's like, man, what are you doing, dude? You're not self-sufficient. All right, and most people don't have the money to just go out and do a homestead. You want 40 acres? Okay. You're still going to have to work a job. So you're going to work your job. You're going to wage cook. You're going to come home and, I got to tend the chickens. I got to do the cows. Or like if you have a wife, you're lucky, I got to make my wife do all this. My kids do all this. And their kids grow up with no friends. Your kids go off. They become freaking libs, right? They start hating you. The cycle continues, right? It's just a dumb solution. It's a LARP. It's not real. Okay? No one's actually self-sufficient in America. You need to rely on these different systems. And it's kind of set up that way. Is there really a way out? Not completely. I don't think so. All right? You can move to Paraguay if you want. Good luck with that. All right? Now for the community. These skills like milking cows, listen, I'm all about the raw milk. I'm all about the fresh eggs, the whole the tallow cream. Yeah, I'm all about that stuff, right? But these skills to make these things, it needs to be dispersed amongst different people, all right? You ideally want to know a mechanic. You ideally want to know someone who has cows. You ideally want to know someone, and you have your own thing that you provide, but you need to have people around that have other stuff going on. I mean, that's kind of how things always operated. Like even like the old homesteads, like the 1800s, it was like pockets of different families, like different clans. It wasn't just one family doing it all. That's dumb. And then if you even if you try to make your pocket with a bunch of suburbanites, like a bunch of freaking city slickers gonna move out and raise cows. Okay, good luck. All right, it's not that freaking easy. I don't care what YouTube says. We want friends. We want our kids to have friends. We want something to be better than what we have, right? We're not just trying to get out, right? We're not trying to change the system. The system's screwed. We're trying to build something better than the system, okay? And so the solution is proximity, right? Proximity is key. It's absolutely key, all right? You don't build trust in heart-to-heart conversations. Okay, it's built in daily interactions. You walk by, you borrow some freaking sugar. Someone stops at my house. Oh, come on in, right? You can hang out for 5 minutes. Maybe offer them a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, right? There's evangelical churches, and they'll try to set up these small groups, right? It's have your heart to heart with people. Have that heart to heart, and we're gonna build a community, and it never works, right? It's always no one, especially the men. I mean, they're like, okay, we'll go, whatever. But it's like everything's forced. Everyone's trying to force these communal type things, and it's really if you're not living next to someone, you have to force it. I mean, you can't have that real community, you know? But, I mean, if you're close to each other, it allows people to do each other favors. You know, you can loan items. You can, you know, I can watch my friends' kids, right? So I live next to a friend. I have another friend who's moving into a house down the block. And now, again, it's easier said than done. You kind of got to go out of your way to kind of make this happen. This is over several years this has happened. Even if you get one friend, if you have one friend that lives next to you, it changes everything, right? If you get two friends that live next to you, it changes even more. And like what I'm trying to do, and the reason I'm creating this channel is I'm trying to build that, I'm trying to scale that, and not only like scale my own community that I'm building, but have other communities of, you know, across the U.S. that, I mean, create a decent life, right? A life for my kids to have friends, right? Where they're not getting bullied by the people at the public schools, which aren't good anymore. It's almost impossible to find a good one. I just don't want to be isolated, right? Because to me, a decent life is like one with your friends, right? And yeah, like these economic factors factor in, but even stuff like, dude, like borrowing some eggs, borrowing a cup of sugar, it changes a lot when you have some friends in walkable distance. And walkable, right? No cars. Sorry, we're anti-car here. So some questions I'm going to be exploring. One, we have relationships that are atomized already across the board. Maybe if you do Discord. I don't have Discord. People are on Discord now. How do we make these local, right? How do we bring people together? How do we build economic engines, build businesses to support ourselves, right? Because yeah, you can work remote ideally, but that's not, again, easier said than done. You know, everyone's trying to get a remote job. How do we get those, right? And how do we make businesses that are independent of remote jobs? And this, like, I'm not going to have this epic solution for you. You might have to find that. But this is what we need to start asking ourselves, essentially. And how do we create common, you know, a telos, right? An end, like a purpose for your community. The telos is Greek for end. But what are we going towards? Like, how are we aligned? Like, what are we trying to accomplish overall? You know, I'm a Christian, right? So we have this eternal telos we're all going towards. We're trying to conform to the image of Christ. But like, you know, if you're something, don't tell me what's going to be your go-to. Now, I think you should become Christian, but you know, not going to like convert people off the bat, right? And then what types of areas should we target when choosing our environment? So I'm going to make some videos about this specifically because I think you don't need to buy a plot of land to build your community. Like, there's lots of good infrastructure that's already there that we can talk about, that we're going to talk about soon. You know, a lot of small towns built on grids, right? So this is the idea. So, you know, that's my TED Talk, right? That's kind of my intro. I want to build a community. I want to build a natural community, not a forced LARP community. And I think, it starts moving towards each other. Can you walk to your friend's house? I can. I mean, the past 2 years have been the best 2 years of my life just because I can walk to a friend's house and hang out. And it's going to get even better, right? And I'm trying to kind of find aligned people, which I'm pretty specific, right? And everyone's kind of getting hyper-specific these days thanks to the internet. So find those people and then make them local, right? So it's a heavy lift, but if you can get that heavy lift done, it's so rewarding. There's nothing better, right? And the sacrifice is worth it. I got C.S. Lewis here. Has this great quote, right? You sacrifice almost everything to live where you can be near your friends because, you know, you want to start a business. You just want to hang out, dude. Like, just hang out and talk for hours. I'm tired of TV. I'm tired of Netflix. I'm tired of all the boy slop, all the freaking crap they put out for us. I don't know. It's whatever. It's nothing's fulfilling online anymore, and now things get even faker with AI, right? So that's the video. Thank you for coming. I'll see you guys later.